When you see yourself, you got to be yourself. I am Joel Walkowski. I am here on the Props Network, and I'm here because I bet basketball. I'm a New York street ball legend. I've taken a bath. I've made it rain at casinos from the deserts of Vegas to the post-show afterglow of Atlantic City. Shout out Wild West Casino. But it's a very special day in basketball. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The NBA, they love to roll out a great slate of games during the day, starting at 12 o'clock. It goes through the rest in normal times. This is probably one of my favorite basketball days of the year. Obviously, we are affected by COVID this year. And, I'm just thinking, wow, it's literally been 1 year since I attended an NBA game. A year ago today, on this same hallowed holiday, I watched the Kyrie Irving-less Brooklyn Nets take down the Philadelphia 76ers, even though Ben Simmons looked freaking great. Changed my opinion of him, but let's talk about today. It's also another fun anniversary because I learned not to bet on LeBron James 4 years ago today. I went out to Vegas for the divisional round. I didn't do so hot. But then on my way home, I was like, you know what? It's Monday. LeBron's playing. What's a better bet than LeBron James? Did not go well. So I don't like betting on LeBron, but I do like betting on a couple of unheralded garbage rotation players who've admittedly made a couple All-Star games. So we've got 3 games for today. There were a few other ones that we liked, but COVID kind of complicated the rosters of Pistons Heat. I didn't really want to touch that. And, all things being equal, if we're having a good night, I think the nightcap, Warriors getting 8.5 right now seems okay to me. But let's start in my hometown, adopted New York City. We have the Knicks. 1 week they're bad. The next week they're good. The next week they're bad again. The next week they're good. And this week they're good. Yesterday on a Sunday day cap, they had a blowout victory against the Boston Celtics on Tom Thibodeau, the hardest working coach, the guy who will run you into the ground. He's the only guy in the NBA who makes his player run suicides, which means he's the only coach in the NBA who makes his players contemplate suicide. But they had a great win yesterday. And it's all about this kid quickly. He is 25th overall pick, point guard from Kentucky, and he's been getting more minutes, 15 points in a row, 3 consecutive games, and he seems to have a spark for that team. They also have Obi Toppin back, RJ Barrett still coming along, and Julius Randle is an all-star. I mean, it's rare that a guy of his abilities, when you think about a guy who penetrates to the lane and then dishes out to shooters, you think LeBron, but Julius has that element to his game. And I am praising the Knicks so much right now because I'm going the other way on this one. They played yesterday. Orlando, they are not so healthy right now. Fultz is out for the year. Isaac's out for the year, but this is actually how I've gotten burned in the past. See, the Orlando Magic, they opened up at 1. They're being bet to -2 here. And not only do we have the back-to-back thing in their favor, we also know that they played in Brooklyn Saturday night. They played pretty well and were in control of that game till the middle of the third quarter, roughly, before a Nets hot streak blew them out of the water in that one. But I like this one because of the unheralded scores on the Magic. Nikola Vucevic is a matchup problem. And when they are out Fultz, when they're out Isaac, they don't really have many options. Aaron Gordon hasn't progressed as the franchise expected. Maybe the franchise evaluates their own players incorrectly as a foundational thing. That's why Victor Oladipo is on the Rockets and Tobias Harris has been on every single team when they were both drafted by the Magic, and they're both pretty good players. But nonetheless, against a tired team, when you have limited options, I think throwing it down to Vucevic is going to be a boon for him. Yeah, Robinson's a great defender, but he's a great help side defender. If you take a guy who's a little bit stronger, a little bit broader, and you put him on the low post with a slew of veteran savvy post moves, I think Vucevic is going to have his way with the Knicks backline defense all day today. I like the Magic in this game. I like Vucevic over 3.5 assists passing out of it. And I think it's a little bit of tired legs. I think it's a little bit of a bad matchup. And Orlando, when they're hurt, they've got guys like Terrence Ross who will step up and give you 30 points and 6 threes in any given night. So against a little tired legs, against a team that's still struggling to figure out their rotation, having like an 8-hour reset in their homes, I'm going Orlando here. I love it. I don't think they're going to blow them out of the water, but I think they're going to have fresher legs in the second half and be able to pull away. What do you think? Are we shorting our city in New York? Is that the bad thing to do today? Nah, the right thing to do is to take a profit, and the right thing to do is to bet on the Magic. Ignore eye contact when you walk past any Knicks fans on the way to your subway stop, and then just count your profits around 2:30. I'm being put out for a procedure this afternoon, so I will not be watching this game, but I'll wake up. I will know exactly what Vucevic did because I have a connection to him. We're both brutes of that regard. See, Sam picks a picture of me for the opening photo. I look 5'5" in that photo, and joke's on you folks, I'm 5'6", 6'3". But okay, I like the Magic there, and probably my favorite line today is let's take a trip to Memphis. And can I give a little disclaimer here? Sam doesn't like when I go off the rails, but a lot of places, they have their famous food place you stop by. You go get a Philadelphia cheesesteak at like Geno's and Pat's, it's okay. You go get a New York slice at one of the great pizzerias like DeFara, and it's okay. You go to Memphis, everyone tells you to go to Gus's, get some fried chicken. Oh my gosh. Lives up to the hype and then some. It's an amazing dinner, and it's an amazing team playing against them tonight. I don't understand this line at all. Will you pull up this line so the viewers can see it, Sammy? Because this don't seem right to me. We have the Phoenix Suns. They're probably the hottest, pun intended, team in the NBA right now, and they're 3.5-point favorites. I get that Ja Morant's back. I get that this is a holiday taking place in Memphis to accommodate a Memphis legend, but there's no world in which Memphis should be only be 3.5-point dogs to Phoenix. Ja's coming back from injury. They don't have two of their best forwards, and Jonas Valanciunas is in COVID protocol. So yeah, Ja's great. Dylan Brooks is great, but I still see a team that's missing 4 of their top 9 starting rotation, and that's not a good fit against a team that's deep at every possible position. Guards, swingmen, big men. There's only 3 positions these days, folks. But I think Phoenix is got a matchup advantage everywhere but the point guard position. And even then, I think Chris Paul might be playing a game of nephew with Ja Morant. He really loves to stick it to the young point guards. And just for my curiosity, will you scroll down to the Atlanta line? It's an early start. So it might be scrolling up there. Yeah, scrolling up. See, Atlanta, -7.5. There's no team playing worse in the NBA right now than Atlanta. So I think these holidays, they are kind of based on the Memphis and Atlanta franchises. Like Atlanta, they have their MLK jerseys going today. And I really wanted to bet on Atlanta, but seeing Trae Young shooting splits over the past 2 weeks, seeing that they're favored by 7.5 over anyone, I think you can't take Atlanta here, and I hate Minnesota so much. I'm calling that one a stay away. But the same logic, it does kind of affirm my pick for the Suns here. We've got a healthy Suns team. They are against an inferior opponent, and they've got Chris Paul at the helm. They're going to take this seriously. They're going to be ready for an odd start time. And the Suns have been playing so well, but they haven't been featured on national television yet this year. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Suns on this one. No chance. This is a way for them to announce to the national television audience, hey, we're a contender in the West. We're the 3rd best team in this conference. We've seen Denver play defense. So yeah, I love Phoenix there. And if you really want to blindly support a prop on this one, I think Ja Morant over points is a nice investment today. He's the type of guy who just anytime he's on national television, the chip on his shoulder is such a part of who he is on the player. I would pretty much always expect him to show out in front of a big audience. Okay, so those are our 2 picks, and we have one last pick. It is our 7:30 nationally televised TNT game. And I know a lot of you guys watched my social video last week. There was a certain trade with a certain team called the Brooklyn Nets. And my favorite player, Kevin Durant, he's got a new riding mate. And I hope the undercarriage is reinforced because that guy's heavy. We got big, heavy James Harden, and he's carrying a load for the Brooklyn Nets, who gave away all their good rotation pieces to have a big 3 of their own, even though one just would rather attend a birthday party than play in an NBA game. You know, I've been to many birthday parties. I'm telling you, no birthday party is as fun as playing basketball. I mean, the only good birthday parties I've ever had are playing basketball. So, Kyrie, what are you doing? You're just living wrong, my friend. So tonight we see that the Nets, it's a 2-point spread. They're playing Milwaukee, and I was actually incorrect. This game is in Brooklyn. I was wrong this morning. In my defense, I haven't eaten in 48 hours, so I apologize to you folks there. So we see this one. It is 2 points. If you could just scroll down for me there, my friend, take us to the 7:30 slate so we can see it. I did look at that Spurs-Blazers game, but I had to rule it out because of rest. So we see the Nets are 2-point dogs here, and yeah, maybe Milwaukee has a little bit more cohesion. Maybe they have better perimeter defenses. Maybe they even have the best player in this game, but I think that the Nets game plan is going to be to shoot them out of the gym. When they need to create a look, they're going to be able to do it with Harden's ball handling ability or Durant's ability to get anywhere he wants on the floor. So I think they just kind of give him the green light from 3. And given that it's Harden, Joe Harris, and Kevin Durant, I think that it could be a mathematical advantage here for the Brooklyn Nets. 3 is better than 2. Yeah, they don't really have a Giannis stopper. Giannis is going to do whatever he wants. But if they play a wide open game, and we saw the point total of the first game they had together versus Orlando, they're going to let you score whenever you want. Giannis is going to be going to the rim unencumbered. And so there's going to be the onus on Brooklyn to score. So I think they will. They've actually got a great complement of shooters of the guys I mentioned, plus Landry Shamet coming off the bench. That's 4 guys who can hit your trays at a 40% clip. And that's a pretty good asset. So even though it's a new rotation, I'm going to endorse the honeymoon period for the Brooklyn Nets over the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe the professional gambler is getting a little excited here. Maybe I just want to see Brooklyn succeed, and I don't have all the confidence in the world in Milwaukee. But I think if it's a pick'em game, I'm going to go with the team that is built around the 3-pointer. That logic makes sense to me sitting here in a very sunny room. Sorry about that, Sam. It's pretty bright in here. So to just sum up the picks, I like the Magic over the Knicks. Shouts to the Knicks, though. All the Knicks young guys are going great. I only base that pick based on it being no rest, basing on Orlando actually being a tough out when some of their players are out with injury and them just giving Vucevic a load management. Think back to game 1 against the playoffs against Milwaukee last year. They were out a lot of guys. They missed DJ Augustine, who was their starting point guard. They missed Jonathan Isaac, which actually they're missing Jonathan Isaac and their starting point guard tonight. So I like that. And other 2 picks, I like the Suns as I got into, and I like the Nets over the Bucks. Now I am going to, since we're live on YouTube, if you have any gambling questions about the NBA, if you want to know what happened with the Celtics offense yesterday, hit me up. I'll hang out here for a few minutes, and I would love to take any questions, queries, comments, suggestions, or if you think I'm wrong on this, tell me why I should go the other way. I believe in strong opinions, weakly held. I have a take. I have an opinion. I can support it no matter what. But if you have a better one, I got no problem adapting. Otherwise, I'm stuck here still supporting, Anthony Bennett. I never liked Anthony Bennett. No one did. I do know another guy named Anthony Bennett. And when I asked him, hey, do you know you have the same name as the worst draft pick of all time? Ooh, he did not like that. So people are asking if the Lakers will cover. And that spread, it was moving in the Lakers' favor all morning, right? It opened up, I believe it was Lakers. This will be the last game, so you can just scroll on down. This is a 10 o'clock start on TNT. So it opened at 9. It's the 8.5. And I kind of like the Warriors here, right? They're playing good basketball. They're scoring a lot of points, and they're keeping it close. Meanwhile, the Lakers, they're still putting in some rotation pieces. They don't really care. LeBron teams, they don't really emphasize blowing teams out in the regular season. And I think 9.5 points against a team that's looking pretty hot as of late. I like the Warriors in that one, actually. Draymond's going to be rattling LeBron a little bit. We have Anthony Davis. He's going to do anything he wants, but gosh, I can't wait to see Wiseman play against Anthony Davis. Like, it's going to be really fun to see the West, because I think it is secretly Anthony Davis's conference. So Sam, if you wouldn't mind pulling up our futures tool over at the Props Network, let's look at NBA title futures, because I still think the Lakers are the best bet. I think they're the best team in the league, and I don't think it's close. I hated the Lakers last year, but the additions of Schroeder and Gasol, that really rounds out this rotation and allows them to play much better defense. Apologies to Rajon Rondo. And it allows them to have two of the all-time great passers on a single roster. Like, there's going to be a next level of basketball that LeBron and Gasol hit at some point, and I think it'll be in the postseason, which is why I still like them to win the title. I don't think there's any value in the Bucks. There might be some of the Clippers if you go over to BetMGM plus 600. I kind of think it's a two-person race right now. It's Lakers or Clippers. We're living 2020 all over again, not just in the news cycle, in the NBA season as well. Clippers are playing their best basketball since they got the big two in the fold there. And yeah, I think there's a ton of value there. I am kind of perplexed that I don't see Philadelphia in the top 4. Philadelphia, 14-1. I liked them before the season at 30-1, and it just seems like they're the only Eastern Conference team with a potentially a light defense. They're the only Eastern Conference team with a big piece to throw at all of the Titans out west. So, given that it's been Embiid's season and that I thought the biggest possible upgrade in the NBA this offseason was going from, the worst basketball people of all time to Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey, was a huge upgrade from them. That's like, imagine you're building a house, right? So you hire these two guys from the Home Depot parking lot, Brett Brown, Elton Brand, and you say, hey, this is the building project. I want to build like a 2-story house. And they just commit arson. They don't know what building a house entails. So they just set it on fire. That's what they do. They have no concept that what they're doing is even wrong. They're just so wrong that anything they'll do is wrong. And you get those guys out of the fold. All your builders that you ever hired, like you've got these great builders. One's from Cameroon. One's from Australia. They're running around. They're fighting. So you get in a couple architects, you get in a contractor with, good employee rapport. People like working from them. They've had success. And you know what? We know they could build a house. So that being said, with the weirdest argument of the show, I kind of like the Flyers for the future on Clippers and the Sixers. Okay, I got another question from my buddy Brenz. Yeah, Toronto can win back-to-back against the Mavs. There's been a lot of value in shorting the Mavs this season. I'm a little surprised to see Stanley Johnson getting end-of-game minutes for the Raptors. But so far, the most success, the steadiest track record so far this year has been shorting the Mavericks. Can we see the spread on this one, Sam? But they're still incorporating a new piece. I don't know that Luka, even though he's been hot as hell this past week, 6 threes in a first half, hachi-machi. Even though that's been the case, I still like Toronto here. They're playing for their season, and it being a 5-point game, even though it's at Dallas, you know what? I like it. I think they've got the matchup there because we saw last week, Dallas, they've got a lot of perimeter guys out. A lot of their best defending perimeter guys have been affected by COVID or injury, and that just doesn't match up well with the Mavericks. And then if you want to pick a guy to guard Doncic, there's not many guys in the league, but Toronto has some really good options to throw at him. Quicker, hard-nosed defenders who are just better athletes than him. Like, me personally, I have OG Anunoby just dogging him the whole game with Stanley Johnson help side. I'm just giving that guy more athletic defenders everywhere he looks and making Porzingis beat me. Now Luke is good enough to beat that, but I like the Raptors. I think they're going to get because what are the best values in the season, right? We know at some point the Raptors are going to go on a run. We know they're an older team. They had to have a very short offseason because they had a good postseason, but they're going to go on a run some point, and I think I like them against Dallas tonight. I will support them, and if I'm up in time for my procedure, I think I'll even throw down with you because let's go, Raps. We're going to be on board when they take that trip. That's our plan for the year. So I will put it out. Any last questions before I hit the high post and say my adieus? Yeah, if I could have a threesome with any two NBA players, probably Bill Laimbeer. And can I get another Bill Laimbeer? No, none more coming in. Well, we will be back tomorrow. We're going to keep tabs on the Magic, the Suns, and I talked too much. I forgot. And the Nets today. I forgot the team that's located a mile away. Well, that's why you do your homework, so you can go back into it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for asking questions. I am a basketball diehard, so I'll be here every day. We're a little early today because of the MLK holiday, but we'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. We'll be back Wednesday at 2 p.m. We'll be back Thursday at 2 p.m. We'll be back Friday at 2 p.m. So if you do like the show, hit subscribe on the Props Network button. We've got a lot of subscribers. We are an upstart, but people are catching on. We do the work here. So join us on our journey. Go to there, smash subscribe for our YouTube, or you could go to our socials, Props Network HQ, all over the place, or the propsnetwork.com. If you want to use these line comparison tools, my personal favorite is the future comparison tools because a degen like me, we need the best payout. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for being hoop heads. And I am so glad that on this holiday that is about equality in this country, we are playing basketball because, as the great late John Thompson said, nothing in this country has done more to bring people of different backgrounds together than our great sport. Thank you, guys. I'm Joel Walkowski for the Props Network. Walking off.